Myself Oshi. I'm here at Nancom, Doctor of Cycle, which is a service center. So today I'll be introducing you to the bike parts of an MTB, which is a mountain terrain bike. So let's start with the safety aspect of the bike, which is the most important component. These are the brake levers, and with the brake levers comes the gear shifters, which for the front shift and the back shift. And then moving on to this is the handlebar. This is called the stem, where the handlebar is fixed. These are your brake cables and the gear cables, and this portion is called the head tube. Now moving down, this is called the fork, and which is the front suspension of the bike, and this is the wheels and the tires. And on the wheels you see this brakes, and how you brake it. This is called the calipers. And then this is the quick release, with which you open or you release it and the wheel comes out. And then this is the hub where the spokes are attached, and the spokes are attached to the this part is called the rim. And this is the axle which gets fixed to the fork of the bike. And one more thing is you have a suspension lock. I mean, if you're doing off-roading, you open the lock. If you're on the road, which is like flat tarmac, you just lock it, because you don't need shockers on flat surface. Now moving on, this is called the saddle. The saddle is attached to it's called the seat post. And then how do we adjust the seat post? We adjust the height. So we have to release this, and then we can adjust the seat height. Now again, moving on to the rear of the bike, we again have the wheels, the tires, the rims, the spokes, and of course the air goes into this, which is called the valve, right? And again, tires for an MTB comes in like two variants. One is a tubeless, and one comes with tube. So if you're doing trails off-roading, it's preferred that, or it's recommended that you use tubeless, and to seal if the punctures, we use a liquid called a sealant. Now, what drives drives a bike, be it MTB or a roadie or a hybrid? So this portion is the engine of the bike, right? We call it this particular thing is called a chain. We call it the drivetrain. So this is the crankset, and this is the cassette. So you can see 1, 2, 3, like 10. These are called cogs, right? And then while shifting, you need some spring type of, because so this is called the derailleur, which helps in shifting the gears. And these small wheels that you see out here, these are called the jockey wheels. And I was talking about the gear shifters. So it's linked out here, this particular cable, which is linked to the brakes and the shifters. So the moment you press like this or press like this, the gear changes. Now this is the derailleur is the rear shifter. Now how the gears change in the front is in the crankset is this is called the front shifter. And as you see, the brake cables or the gear shifter, these are all going inside the frame. And of course you will feel thirsty during the ride, so we have a bottle cage out here. And can you focus this thing? So some of us we carry like a hand pump also, so we fix it out here in case there is a puncture. So
Correct size.
and again, okay, and these are the pedals. Sometimes people use flat pedals, which is like this, and sometimes some people use cleats, which is like it grips your shoes to the pedals. So your legs are integrated with the bike.
नीचे ऊपर.
Yeah,
Position.
and this is
Position and level.
and yeah, it's a very important to have the right height of while riding. So like if it's low, then your knees will hurt. If it's high, then your hamstrings will hurt. So this is how we adjust the seat height. We just loosen this, and then again we tighten it like this. And again, this particular saddle position is again as per rider's comfort. I generally prefer it a little angle down like this, but again, and depends on what you're doing. You're doing cross country or downhill or enduro. So if it's downhill, you need a little up, and at the same time, it has to be a little ahead so that you can shift your lower body towards the rear wheel to proper balance of the bike. And now let's talk about the chassis, or from a cycling perspective, it's called the frame. So this is the top tube. This is the
Stay tube.
stay tube, and this is the down tube.
Chain stay.
And these two, which holds the wheels, it's called the chain stay, and
Seat stay.
this is the seat stay.
With head tube.
And again, I told you before, this is called the head tube.
It's a whole triangle frame.
So again, the geometry, like as per how people prefer how the riding style is. So there are different geometry for different bike types. For MTB,
Triangle frame more strong.
yeah. So you have an XC geometry, which is called cross country. Then you have enduro geometry. You have trail geometry, and then you have downhill geometry. So and again, this is like a front suspension bike. You have got like a full suspension bike also, which means you have a suspension system out here as well. So children, that's it for how an MTB looks like and the components. Hope this was useful to you. Thank you very much, and you have a great day.